Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you are watching from in the world, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the RaceKraft Simulations V8 Veterans here for Season 18. It's the Split 2 action from the penultimate round here for this season. We're out at Mid-Ohio for tonight for the penultimate round. I'm your commentator, Hamish Munro, as always, here bringing you all the action here out of Logitech G, round number 9, sorry, I forgot to change the name of the track there. We'll fix that up just quickly. Just such a rush to get everything ready to go. There we go, round number 9 out at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Circuit. So obviously we've already had such a massive season so far throughout Season 18, and the big narrative that's come off the second half of this season is the battle for the championship between Mark Pointon and Matty Scholes, and then the battle for that final opportunity at automatic promotion up to Split 1 between Darren Goosey, Shane Randell, and the looming Matty Parker. Now, the big news coming into this race here tonight is that Matty Parker is not out there. So unfortunately, I think due to, taking in the calculations that he's actually now had to deal with not only a poor round that he could not drop because he missed round 1 and that was 0 points that he dropped, he's also having to take 0 points on the chin as well. So I'm not sure why Matty missed the round. I hope everything is okay. I hope that he is safe. I hope his family's safe. I hope for whatever reason it was, it's just that he just couldn't make it on Thursday night. But unfortunately, that would take him pretty much out of the hunt now for P3 in this championship. Very unlikely that he could actually get up there, being that Shane and Darren are now going to have another round worth of points on him. But yeah, it just makes it a little bit hard for him. So Mid-Ohio offers up a heap of challenges. We haven't been here in a fair while. But it's really, it offers up its own little challenges, its own little battling opportunities. I've been broadcasting this track this week, quite a few different series this week and even last as well. Commentating F3s around here, supercars in the past as well, and then also even some sports car racing in the past too. So, this track is it's kind of a little hidden gem, out of the options for some little sports car racing circuits. It's up there with the likes of Lime Rock and others alike, even with Most Sport too. But yeah, I think this is really going to give us a bit of an eye opener and really show us what the roadmap is coming into the final round next week out at Mugello. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping as well. Next week's episode will be happening at an earlier time than 8:30 p.m. The final round will be happening Sunday evening at 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. That is 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. That is 3:30 p.m. WA time. 6 p.m. for South Australians. 5 o'clock for Northern Territory. And 5:30 for Queensland, and then 8:30 p.m. for the Kiwis. So, it'll be a little bit slightly earlier, as I'm pulling a Mez as a wrestling event on Saturday night over in Perth, and I want to be able to watch it live. So that's why we're going slightly earlier for the final round next Saturday night. But we will still see the entire event in its entirety. We'll run it through. We'll have the conversations with the drivers. It will still be just as spectacular as ever, just at an earlier time slot next Saturday night. But tonight, the focus is here. Mid-Ohio Sports Car Circuit, as I mentioned. Multitude of challenges, but the real narrative here tonight is, will Scholes get that 5th victory and be one away from equalising the record that Sibra currently holds twice over of 6 wins in a single season? Or can Mark Pointon continue the run and continue the battle with Scholes going into the final round? If Scholes can get the win here tonight and Mark can't really string anything together and get up towards the pointy end of the tower, it's going to be hard for him to really challenge that championship next time out. But that is what he needs to focus on here tonight. I mean, if he finishes outside the top 5, this will just be his drop round, and we'll be able to reevaluate what the current point situation is during the week, and then we'll have a better view of what it is come next Saturday afternoon or next Saturday evening when we go live again. But yeah, it's going to be absolutely incredible to see what the action is like here tonight. The other big battle that I mentioned, Goosey versus Randell. Parker not being here, as I mentioned, kind of takes him out of the hunt, takes him out of the fight a little bit. He still is within a mathematical chance, but it's very unlikely that those two are going to have a poor enough round if he shows up for round 10 that he's going to be able to challenge for that P3 place. So that's now the one-on-one affair that we have going forward too. So those are the ones that we're going to be concentrating on. Also, the big news is obviously from P4 down to P13, every driver stays in split 2 who finish in that position at the end of the championship. But the guys who are at the rear end of that, including Will Munro and likes around him, they will just be fighting for survival to stay into that top 10. Guarantee that they do not need to do pre-qual if they want to stay in split 2. And then if they want to pre-qual, they can pre-qual to try and make it up to split 1, or they can just take a little bit of a rest, a little bit of a break in the pre-qual period as well. Big shout out to everyone already in the chat, including Anita Buckland, Gary Buckland, Stacey Boyd, and Jim Caperonis. Great to have you all here. Great to have you all joining us for the journey here tonight for round number 9. Qualifying is just finishing up for the drivers. We're then going to get into our warm-up, and then we'll get into our race, our 200-kilometre, 56-lap affair around this circuit. Some of the danger zones that we need to be careful of here tonight. I think, obviously, turn number 1 is a very, very difficult corner to... not difficult in the way, but it is easy to make a mistake there, but it's a stupid reason why you can make a mistake and actually end up in some strife. Cutting the curvature on the inside in the inside of the line on the outside of the pit exit, if you catch that and you catch the bump wrong, it can either fling you off right to the right and out into the Neverland, or it can fling you to the left and take you right into the wall. So drivers are going to have to be careful about that here tonight. Up at the hairpin at turn 2, we can see some moves happen there. Drivers just really need to be careful about running a bit wide and ending up in the sand trap or into the wall. Down at turn 3, that's a big passing opportunity. Big tough spot, though, to go too wide through 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. But we could see it happen. And then, of course, the final corner. Very easy at the second to last and final corner to make a mistake, see some action happen. You know, people coming into the pit entry. We could see a lot of drivers really just run it wide, running it a bit too hot into the pit entry. So they need to be careful of that here tonight. But regardless, let's take a breath. Let's compose ourselves, and let's get ready to go racing here tonight for Mid-Ohio. So quite a couple of cars already out on track here at this stage in time. They're getting ready. You know, they're just trying to keep the cars in check and get themselves ready and do those warm-up starts as well. So we'll see some people cut lap times here in this warm-up session as well. So catch up on a couple of your chats. So Will Munro now in the chat as well, asking what everyone thought of Mid-Ohio coming into tonight. Jim Caperone saying it was tricky. It is a bit of a tricky circuit, isn't it? And I think that's why it harkens itself very similarly to like the likes of Lime Rock, you know, and others like that, you know, the real club sports car circuit type of track, even a little bit like Winton, maybe a couple of aspects of Sandown out there as well. So I think it is a very challenging track, but it doesn't seem challenging when you come here. And actually being able to cut a lap and bring a lap together and cut them consistently is what is the real challenge of this place. Woman is saying, I struggled all week finding pace, but really enjoyed the rhythm. Yeah. John Gallen saying, loved it, think it had good rhythm once I got my head around it. And again, it's one of those tracks that once you can listen to the music, find the rhythm of the music that is the roar of Mid-Ohio, you find the pace and you find being comfortable around a lap here. But it's about finding that music and finding that rhythm, as I mentioned, to get it in, you know, to get it properly. So that's really what we're going to have to be worrying about here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, for these drivers to contend with in our penultimate round of Season 18. And I'll tell you what, 18, man, it has absolutely flown by. We are now past the point, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to just call this out for a moment. We're now past the point of 1 year since I started broadcasting for vets, and it has been an absolute pleasure so far to broadcast these races for everyone. I've had an absolute blast, and yeah, I look forward to another year of doing vets. More and more seasons. Bring on season 19. Bring on season 20. Hopefully, we can have that dream of having the double-length season for season 20. We'll have to wait and see. You know, we'll have to wait and see what it brings for season 20 and then into the future as well. It's a big milestone. No league, I believe, has ever gone that far, has ever run 20 seasons of the same thing. So it's an absolute milestone for vets to have that, and we're going to get to that here. Here for this year of 2024 here for the vets. Thank you, Jim. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you. So yeah, and with that as well, there comes some other milestones throughout the field. This season we had a lot of drivers hit 50, 100, 150 race starts. There'll be a couple coming up next season as well that I know about. I know that Will Munro will be hitting 100 race starts next season, because I checked it about 2 or 3 seasons ago and he was sitting around about 81 or so races. So he'll be hitting the 100 next season. I need to check other split two drivers, check their stats, see where they are too in terms of race starts and when they might hit that milestone or hit another milestone as well. So we'll have to check that out, get those stats ready to go for next season. But the warm-up is coming to an end. We've got about 20 seconds left, so just going to have a little breath here just for a moment. I'm all excited. I'm all jittery for tonight's race. Of course, watched the qualifying this afternoon for the 12-hour. Absolutely exceptional. Cannot wait for the 12-hour tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely fantastic to see. Had a big call last night for SRW. Marty Atkins in the chat saying PC issues, network issues, and breaking the spring in my shifter in turn 1 and losing the car and taking 2 other drivers out was a race to forget. Well, we'll have to wait and see how that goes for you there, Marty. We've got the pace cars just pulled up into the pit lane. So while we wait for everyone else to grid up, we can pull up our starting grid for tonight's race. So Matty Scholes will start at a P1 here tonight for 801 Sim Racing. He'll start just ahead of SLS Racing's Brian Minogue at a P2. So the championship leader does well to put the car on pole and give him a strong start here for race number 9. Jim Caperonis and Stephen Grech, they will line up in P3 and 4. P3 for Grech, P4 for Caperonis there, and Old Mate & Sons row to lockout. Then it's Glenn Corbett in P5. Here tonight for Hypersonic Racing, Shane Randall will then start out of P6 for Simrigs Infinity Motorsport. Jason DiBattito will start at a P7 here tonight for Hypersonic Racing, alongside Banter Alliance Racing's Roy Clark, Mr. Crash Clark himself at a P8. Peter Latham then starts at a P9, just ahead of Old Mate & Sons' Gary Buckland, who returns to the series after missing last week. He lines up in P10. Toddy Duggan then starts out of P11 for Nova Sim Sports. He'll start just ahead of Simrigs Infinity Motorsports' Robert Crow out of P12. We then scroll down and we find Will Munro starting at a P13 here tonight. He'll start just ahead of his teammates, rival in Darren Goosey, out of P14. That's where we then find Mark Pointon in behind them. So P2 in the championship, he starts P15 here tonight. Does the Frog Leap Juice Racing driver, so not the kind of start that he would want here to the final push for his championship challenge. Does the curse still linger over his head, or can he break the curse of the round 1 winner winning the championship at the end of the season? Ed Fox then starts at a P16 here tonight. He'll start just ahead of Troy Sibyl at a P17 for Quantum Pegasus Performance Racing. He'll start just ahead of Matty Stoyles at a P18 here tonight. Peter Vermeer then starts at a P19 for 1MLT. He'll start just ahead of John Gallen, who makes up the top 20 for Pacific Esports Racing. Mark Peck will then start at a P21 for Quantum Pegasus Performance Racing. He'll start just ahead of Daniel Sheriffs at a P22, with Jamie Peters starting at a P23. He made his return last week to the series for Infinity Motorsports, but he now runs for another round in a row for round number 9. He starts at a P23 ahead of Richard Barella there for WKMP Sim Sports in P24. P25 will go to Sean Cullen. He'll start just alongside Scotty Weston. They'll line up just ahead of Jeremy Bush in P27 and Matty McMillan in P28, with Craig Healy in behind in P29 and Michael Yeo making up the top 30. Making up the rest of our grid, we've got Brett Taylor, Marty Hanson, Wayne Shepherd, Toddy Martin, Marty Atkins, and Jason Dunn. Big thank you to Greg Favell, Anthony Visma, and Michael Hayes, our race controllers here tonight, and our safety car driver. We so appreciate their time, their efforts they put into the league. But let's get ready to go racing. We've got a couple, about 10 seconds or so still till the lights will go green. It's going to be hell of a race, hell of a night here. Out at Mid-Ohio. It is green flag running here at Mid-Ohio. Great start there from Scholes, who broke away nice and early from Minogue. Minogue, though, will want to try and slot up into P2, but Grech wants to put the pressure on early in behind. They come up through 1 for the first time, up towards 2. We can see back in the field, how do they all go as they run on round? Not looking too bad at the moment. Look pretty good so far. Nice and clean up through 2. Scholes leads the way, as I mentioned. Couple of movers and shakers as we make our way round for the first time. here at Mid-Ohio here tonight. 56 laps. We will be doing 200 Ks around this short, sharp sports car circuit once again. As we come on through turn number 3 for the first time. Scholes looking strong. Minogue's still there, as I mentioned. Come up through turn 4, 5, 6, and 7. Tough little section of circuit. Takes you a little while to get used to it and find the rhythm, as we mentioned. Find the gearing that best suits you and best suits the car. As we come on through. Scholes doing well here off the start line. He's already starting to break away from Minogue. Gap's already out to about a second. Knowing that the toe is not actually too far away here tonight. Toe range about half a second around Mid-Ohio. So Minogue's going to have to work hard here to bring in that gap. Jack, I was asking if he can pet that dog. Can I pet that dog? You sure can. As we start lap number 2 here tonight of round number 9. And in fact, I've just realised because we have so much gap now. Let's see here if we can go all the way down to P36. We can indeed. So now we have the entire timing tower on the side of the screen. Had a bit of a play with some stuff. Troy Sipple's gone off at the exit of 1. And he is dropping spots like it's nobody's business. He's also missing that bonnet. Not what you want to see early on from the season 14 champion. Get the volume a little bit up here. Cars are a bit quiet at this stage. Thank you. Thank you, yes. It's had a bit of a play around, changed the resolution of it, so now we actually have more of the tower visible. We'll be working on a new, slightly newish timing tower for next season. Still be incorporating some of these colours, but just, change it up a little bit for season 19. Scholes doing very well, though, up the front already. He's already broken away. 1.6 seconds is the gap back to Minogue, so could this be a runaway round here for Scholes to claim that 5th win of the championship? Pointon's already down a spot here tonight. He's already down back into P16. He's lost out to the real hard-charging Johnny Gallen off this start. He's up 5 spots already in P15. I have turned the cars up a wee bit. I don't want to have them up too much because when I actually go on board with them, they'll actually be quite loud. So if I go on board with Gallen here, see how loud that is? You can hardly even hear me unless I yell. So we're going to change that to... I'll change the camera choice because that'll actually give us better sounding cars. That's real low though for IMSA, so we won't run that camera. We'll run this one. Big shout out as well goes to Jay Kennedy, who provided me with the camera packs all this season for the tracks. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. Maybe Will just needs to turn his ears up a little bit. Look at the pass though from Pointon on the inside. That's what you expect from the 2-time winner here in Split 2. Can see the pressure though being applied from Gallen onto the back end here of Pointon. So come up on through. Munro now under attack here, under assault from P2 in the championship. Oh, Gallen saying he let him through. Daniel Sheriff so has gone off in behind. What's happened to him? I can see the smoke. I'm trying to click on his name. There he is. He's actually spun it round after turn 7. So he now drops down right to the back of the order here tonight. But the hard-charging Mark Pointon still continues on. He's back up to where he started in P15. Look at that curb shot. Great to see all the cars come past. You see them all flowing onto the exit of turn number 1. Fantastic to see. We're back up to this battle, though. And the reason we focus on this is, number 1, we've got Pointon in there. Number 2, we've got Goosey in there, who's battling it out for P3 in the championship. Randell at the moment, P6, so this is actually a good gap for him. He's going to gain some good points here on Goosey leading into the final round if they finish this way. But we know what kind of a silent assassin that Goosey is. He'll just try and pick off positions as best he can. And I'm sure his teammates will let him pass if they need to, if he catches up to the back of them, so they'll be able to help him out as well. But he's right behind Shane's teammate at the moment. So we saw last week a little bit of team play from the Old Mate and Sons boys on the Infinity car of Randell. Well, Now it's working the opposite way for Goosey, who has now got a brick wall in front of him of Robert Crow. So I know Robbie will just be trying to help Shane out as best he can, try and keep Goosey behind him, just to keep this battle going further and further in through the championship. Pointon, though, wants to go on a bit of a hard charge here. Up towards turn 2. There's smoke up ahead. And that's Randell. It's Randell. He's gone off. Randell has gone off at turn 2. And now he's going to be dropping spots. And all of a sudden, it looks as if this is now going to give us a nice little tasty battle on our hands. He slots in behind his teammate in Munro. And all of a sudden, it's 3 Infinity cars on 1 against Darren Goosey. He's got Pointon on his outside. He wouldn't necessarily want to let him go because he doesn't want to have to lose too much time to Goosey, who's now ahead of him. But he'd also know he doesn't want to have to hinder Pointon's charge for this championship battle for P1 and 2. Oh, last week happened to be coincidental. Oh, yeah, I mean, it just happens it was a coincidence this week that he started behind Robbie. So it's just like, well, you know, battle him. Try and keep him behind, I guess. He's starting behind you. But we'll just have to wait and see how this one pans out. But that was a big moment, though, for Mr. Randell. He's now got Pointon up in behind him here. On board now with Pointon. As we come on to lap number 6 of 56 here. Super close, super tight racing between these drivers. As we continue on. Oh, it's a big slide from Munro. Good catch from him, though. He'll have to slot in right behind Pointon now. That was a big wiggle from him. Gallen up the inside. That's a nice move from him. Give the flowers out when you can. That was a good move from Gallen, but Munro wanting to come back at him here. Notice as well, Sheriff still struggling up the back here tonight. Gallen's gotten this done. He now moves into 15th. Munro slots in behind in P16. Let's check out some of our other battles that are occurring up the field. Minot currently under assault here from Grec and Caperonis. They got Corbett in behind there as well. This is the battle for P2. Not quite close enough just yet to really put an assault in for this position just yet. But they are still battling it out at this stage. Just trying to stay together. Scholes, massive lead already. 3.5 seconds. It is enormous, you know, and this is now hurting Mark Pointon, being stuck in the traffic right now. This is really hurting him. The gap that he has up to the leader is currently 12.7 seconds. So he's now lost 12.7 seconds to Matty Scholes up in P1. You see Ed Fox in the background. He wants this on Peters. That's a nice move on the inside. Does well. That's Roy Clark. He's had a moment off the exit of 1-2. Sorry we missed it. But he now drops a heap of spots, and all of a sudden, you know, maybe the thought comes in our mind, well, if one of the front runners can make a mistake like this, as Pointon and Randell battling up towards 3, if one of the front runners can make a mistake like that, then all of a sudden everything is to play for any of their rivals within the field. Pointon wants this up the inside of Randell. Nice clean racing between them at this stage. Up through 4 now. As they come on through. And Randell does well to hold that position off through that section of circuit. And now Pointon's just going to have to line this one back up and hope to have another attempt at another point across possibly the next couple of laps. But Randell now, because he's getting in this battle, he's actually losing out to Goosey, who's just ahead of him. Is that Pointon who's just... Oh, I thought he went off there onto the grass, but... No, he gets it back on the track. He's now coming in. He wants to get out of this traffic, wants to try and get some clean air so he doesn't have to... He can avoid battling. That's what he wants. He doesn't want to battle anyone because he'll lose too much time. Clark's also in. Lap 8 of 56, as I mentioned. So now he just wants some clean air because he needs to try and be able to push and not battle anyone, with Scholes being so far up the road from him before he came into the lane. So that's what he'd be hoping for at this stage. We see Minogue in the background. just trying to not lose too much time to the leader, but he is struggling a little bit at this stage. Corbett's on the back of this battle as well. Nice little battle that's happening further back. Latham and Duggan. They've got Crow and Goosey in the background of them. This is the battle for P8 at the moment. I know that Latham has the pace. We know Duggan has the pace. We know Crowy has the pace. And, well, we obviously know Goosey has the pace. Being the little silent assassin, he can just make his way through the field, as I mentioned. Just pick off positions left, right, and center. He's almost like a hitman out there. Bit of agent. Instead of Agent 47, he's Agent 186. And that's what he'll just be hoping to do here tonight. Consolidate positions, get a good, strong finish over Randell, and then go into the final round with the advantage. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final round that drivers can drop. So if they've had a poor performance before now, they need to keep this one as clean as possible. Need to do as good as possible, as well as possible. And if they've had positive positions throughout the season, like Scholes and Pointon, who've not finished outside the top 5, if they're going to have a poor round, it needs to be this one, because they're able to drop it. They don't want it to be the final round of the season. If it's the final round, they can't drop it, and they just have to suck it up and cop the points. Goosey, though, up the inside of Crow. That's a good move there from the 186 driver. The Industrial Batteries Australia entry of Old Mate and Sons. A good move from him. He now slots up into P10. So he now makes it into the top 10. And there's now a car between him and Randell, making it 4 points the gap on the points gained for this round. Mr. Buckland is up already 3 positions. Biggest movers of this race so far, there's 3 of them. Michael Yeo, Matty McMillan, and Jamie Peters. All 3 of them are up 8 positions so far in this race. A couple of drivers on 7 positions gained, those being John Gallen and Scotty Weston. Marty Hanson, Wayne Shepherd, Marty Atkins as well. So as Peters now makes it 9 positions gained, as Gallen has now gone into the lane. So and those previously mentioned drivers now make it 9 positions gained. Biggest loser so far, Roy Clark. He's down 24 after making the mistake and then coming into the lane. Pointon's down 18, but he has done the 1 compulsory pit stop, so we'll have to see how the strategy plays out for him after the second stop happens later throughout proceedings. Look at this, though. Duggan and Latham. These guys still trying to battle it out hard. They're coming up onto the back of Dibatito and Buckland. I'll just be hoping to get this battle going a little bit here between them. Under the Honda sign they come. Up through 6 and 7. So easy to carry too much speed over 6 and just lose the rear end. End up in the kitty litter on the left-hand side. Really just want to be able to get it over there on the brakes, get the car pulled up, down the gears and round the right-hand corner. Don't want to be running wide. It can just cause you problems. Buckham, though, little lock up as we come on through the final couple of corners. Lap 11 of 56. So we're absolutely flying by. No safety cars just yet. I doubt we're going to get any here tonight unless we get an absolute track pile up. On the curb now. Look at the speed they carry through the exit of 1. This battle between these two here doing very, very well so far. Buckland kind of the meat in the hypersonic racing chubby buns burger. You got Corbett at one end, Dibatito at the other, and Buckland just making up the filling. Maybe a bit of peanut butter on that burger. You know, there is actually a burger out there that has got peanut butter in it. I'm not even joking. Great to have you here, Mark. Mark out and into the chat. Hope to see you back in Split 2 next season, Mark. Haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. So hopefully we can see you get back out there, have a good crack next season. Love seeing you do well, mate. And would love to see you have a fight for a championship once again. What am I saying? Name 4 of your cars together. There are 4 of our cars together, William. Verme's dropping spots. And I think he may have had a bit of an issue out of the exit of 7, but he's just dropped a heap of spots there. down to P19 where he started this race. This now promotes Matty McMillan to the driver with the most positions gained. He's now up 10 spots, so that's a great run from the WKMP driver. One of the super cheap auto entries out there. We know how consistent they can be. Obviously brought in the newest drivers in Troy Stone Street, Paul Burns into their team this season. Mark out and saying, yeah, I'll be back off travelling at the moment. Currently in Melbourne. Well, welcome to a lot of our local area, mine included, being in Victoria. Hope you're enjoying being here. And I hope you're having a good break as well. And as I mentioned, look forward to seeing you back in season 19. Let's go on board here with Matty, see how he's kind of working his way around this track as we come up through turn 4. You can see there, you just got to be so light on that throttle. Cannot, you know, push it too hard. He's got his teammate 2 spots up ahead of him here, Richard Barella. Something happened to Lorne. Hope he's okay. Well, he's not in the session. He wasn't in the session Thursday night. But yes, hoping that Lorne McKee is safe, sound, and okay. Bush dropping some spots. That's just because I think he just dropped a little bit there. But McMillan and Vermey are now in. So I was about to say before as well, I think McMillan and Barella are actually the only 2 super cheap auto entries in Split 2 this season, being that Vermey has actually now left their team. So I do believe that they are actually the only WKMP cars in this split, which is quite interesting. We see Michael Yotho in the background here with Ed Fox. He wants this move up the inside through 2. Yeah, we can do a lap with Scholes. We'll go on board with him once he starts his next lap. There's a good move there from Michael on the inside of Ed. Good to see, of course, both these boys raced in Split 3 last season, working to battle each other hard here at the moment. They got one of their other Split 3 cohorts with him in behind, the champion of last season, Wayne Shepherd. He's currently in a bit of a GMK logistics battle, trying to find the logistics and make a plan to try and get by Mr. Hanson ahead of him here and not let Craig Healy past him, who's in behind him at the moment. At least they don't sandbag like the Sandbag King. Well, big news going forward as well for this final round. There has been plans made that started up by Will Munro to donate $50 to Gunter's Dementia Australia Foundation Fund to have Mr. Van Ree run the Sandman livery for the final round. I reckon if we can get to a certain dollar amount, maybe set by JVR, he has to run the Sandman livery for all of season 19. What do you guys reckon? Let me know in the chat what you reckon. Let's get in the general chat. Let's make it happen. Maybe if it's $500 or something donated to Dementia Australia from the vets, then he has to run that livery for all of next season. Craig Friend in the chat. Go the Chubby Buns, boys. They're doing pretty good at the moment. We've got Grecky up in P3, Caparonis P4, Buckland in behind in P6, and then Goosey just at the end of the 10. So 4 of those cars in the top 10. So yeah. So maybe we can get that going in the general chat of the Discord. If we can get $500 raised for Dementia Australia, then Van Ree has to run the Sandman livery for all of season 19. I think that'll be a great cause and a great reasoning to do it as well. Very good. I'll put the post out in the general chat after the broadcast. We'll get Gunter to get the link up and we can make the fundraiser happen. Maybe we can have tiers. Maybe if we get to 500, it's the Sandman livery. Maybe if we get to 1,000, maybe he has to run it for the rest of the year or something. Maybe we can sort that out for the plans to get made for that one. But it is definitely happening for round 10 next week. But let's check out where Matty Scholes is. He's coming round up underneath the Honda sign. We'll sit with him for a moment here up until he starts his next lap, and then we'll go on board with him. And we'll see how he does a lap of this great track. In split 2, yeah, definitely. Definitely, yeah. He's going to do it in split 2. 100%. 100% he is. All right, let's head on board now with Mr. Scholes. We'll suss up how he does a lap of this great place. So we come up here up towards turn number 2. Great run from him here. He's already got a great gap. Down into 2 now. Runs it down to second gear for the right-hander. Does not short shift up the third. He wants to rise all the way up the gears as we come on through. And it's that smooth steering, those smooth inputs. That's where you get the speed. Look at that. Look at how smooth that entry is. And even off steering too, back, straightening the car back up. That is where you find the pace. It's those smooth inputs as we mentioned. Up towards turn 7. 605 machine. There's a reason why this car leads the championship. And it is because he is a smooth operator. It is a Sunday drive for him at the moment. Exactly right. We come up through to start the next lap. Lap 17 of 56. Get our interval back up as well so we can track that. But it was good to see from him there. A good little lap. And he's doing well. Doing incredibly well at the moment. As he makes his way through. Just, he just proves, and this is why he's battling it out for this championship and why he deserves to be battling it out. He's just such a cool, calm, collected operator in that car. Let's go on board with Will, see his wheel work. Sure, let's check out Will's wheel work. His wheel work. You see here. Let's come on through. I'll tell you what, we have got car sound. It's just the cameras. This track has got really, really bad ability to be able to pick up the car sound. And you know what? This is some pretty buttery smooth wheel work from William here. He's doing well. As he comes into the lane. No, he stayed out. Still going. Oh, no, he's in the lane. He is in the lane. So in comes Will Munro. Matty Scholes still doing well. See all the cars making their way through now. Just doing the business here of just trying to stay in this fight. But Scholes is doing incredibly well to stay out in front. He is. You cannot deny this. Well, since everyone's coming into the pits, let's quickly run a quick ad break here. Let me find a good camera angle to follow the leader at this moment in time. We're going to go on board with Mr. Scholes. Or is he coming in the lane? He's coming in the lane. So we'll find somebody else. We'll go on board with... Where is he? Mark Pointon. Currently fighting it out here in this race. We'll sit on board with him. We'll have the, the timing tower still up on screen. But, let's get this going here for tonight. Great there just to get a little bit of ad roll going as we come up to the 20th lap of this race. We're about 8 laps away from the midway point of proceedings here tonight. As we currently stand, although Darren Goosey is now in the lane, Brian Minogue, I believe, will also... No, he's actually had his first compulsory pit stop. Scholes has actually had quite a long stop in that one. It was actually quite a long pit stop for him that time by. If we look here, it was 37.6 seconds. That's a big fill for the leader. It will mean he'll have a shorter fill later on. Goosey now up at the pit exit. So he's now given up some track position, but he will actually have the benefit of the fuel strategy later in the race. But now Brian Minogue leads the way. Doing well here to be in the lead of this race. We'll have to wait and see what it appears to be like come the second compulsory pit stop here tonight. Current running order as things stand here at lap 20 of 56. Minogue leads the race to Caperonis, to Grech, to Buckland, to Scholes, to Latham, to Corbett, to Duggan, to Dibatito, to Goosey. That's the top 10. Pointon, Randell, Munro, Crow, Clark make up the 15. And then Peters, Weston, Hanson, Healy, Gallen. That's the 20. So a lot of the drivers doing pretty well here tonight. They are just trying to stay as clean as possible at this stage. Back on board now with Minogue. And he just starts to round his way, or keep coming his way round this beautiful Mid-Ohio circuit through the final couple of corners. He will start lap 21 of 56. Real close battles on track happening. It's realistically this one here. Scholes versus Buckland. We got Latham in behind. Craig Healy drives for East West Racing GMK Logistics alongside Scotty Weston, Marty Hanson and Matt Stoyles. Scholes up the inside now of Buckland at 2. Buckland appears to let him have it as we continue on off the exit. Although Buckland, it looked like he wanted to come back at him there, up towards the next corner. You can see the battle that's currently on hand between these two. Latham's in there as well. Inside line goes to Scholes. Buckland's going to have to give it up at this stage in time. It's come down through 5, 6, and 7. Oh, there are 3 of their cars together, John, and I reckon there definitely would be some chatter happening for sure. That's a really loud camera. The way this camera pack is interesting, to say the least, as to why it is so loud. But yeah, I'd say these boys are working together at the moment. They would be talking to each other and discussing what the game plan is to attack the likes of Peters and Clark up the road from them. Head back up down to this battle. This is a battle for P4 on the road. Scholes, Buckland, Latham, and Corbett. They're all in this battle together. Duggan not too far in behind. Yeah, I know, Shane. The camera pack that I've been given, or that I chose, I don't know why. Some of the cars, some of the cameras just do not have good pickup of the car sounds. I don't know why, to be honest with you. It's quite interesting to say the least. As we continue on round up through 4, 5, 6, and 7 once again. This little battle just starting to settle down a little bit now. Let's check out some of the other battles a bit further back in the pack. Atkins, Stoyles, and Taylor. These guys just trying to chase down Michael Yeo up ahead of them here. Taylor wants to get this done on Stoyles ahead of him in the East West Racing GMK Logistics machine. As we come up towards turn number 3. On board now with Taylor. This might only be the battle for P29. But these guys are racing like it is a race for the win. Do not want to give anything up anywhere throughout the field. as I believe Atkins is actually dropping frames here. Getting a bit of blipping from him on the screen. John Gallen saying, I see Shane Paddo in this split next season. We'll have to wait and see what that looks like. I know that for sure we'll see the likes of Reese DeGoey, Steve Lanyon and others in split 2 next season. But we'll have to wait and see what the game plan is and how it works out for drivers within pre-qualifying. But it's battle just starting to heat up between these drivers. It's the wrong one. That's the one we want there. TV3. Tattoo it under my eyelids. TV3. Unfortunately, Daniel Sheriffs is still in the pits. He's a lap down. I believe he may be out of this race. Haven't seen any movement from him here for a couple of laps. I'd say that he is out of it at this point. This is our closest battle on screen at the moment. Atkins, Stoyles, and Taylor. Taylor just gets out of the toe there, not trying to... but Stoyles, a little bit of a lock. Wanted it up the inside late of Atkins. Couldn't quite get it there. Now it's going to leave him open to assault here from Taylor. He wants it round the outside at 5 as they come up through 6 and up into 7. Oh, Paddo, I'm sure he is, but I mean, have some faith in yourself. Jamie Peters has had an incident on the main straight. And he's now going to be dropping some spots as well. Looked like he lost the rear end coming around the final corner. Unfortunate for him, he had a strong run so far. He's only down 3 spots on where he started the race. But now it's going to have to be a bit of a comeback affair for him. Go back up there to this battle. Vermeer's now in on the action too. Big slide from Yo ahead. I thought it was. Maybe not. Oh, but there's contact with Atkins. It was Atkins who had the slide. That was Taylor involved. That'll take him out of the battle for sure. And that there is just unfortunate. Bit of an unfortunate timing for Taylor and for Atkins. Unbelievable. It's now a battle between Vermeer, Stoyles in behind, and Michael Yo a little bit further up the road from them. So that's now eliminated 2 cars from that battle. Unfortunate there. We'll see if we can show the replay. We'll see if we can. Here it is. They're coming up. Oh, he's just lost it. He's just lost the rear end and nowhere for Brett to go, unfortunately for him. It's unfortunate from them there. Yeah, a little bit ugly. Unfortunate. It's one of those things that, you know, you got nowhere to go at that stage and you're just caught up in another person's incident. But could have happened to anyone. Could have happened to any of the drivers out there as well. Check out this battle though. Goosey versus Dibatito up the road from him, and then they got Duggan, who's a bit further up there in P number 1 at this point. But Pointon is closing in now on the back of them. So, Mr. Houdini saying that was ugly, and then Paddo chiming in with, so is my missus. I don't talk about it, Jim. Oh, my God. Tell you what, though, tell you who is actually doing well, just to give a quick little shout out. Mr. Houdini is doing very well here tonight. He's managed to pull a rabbit out of the hat here and is battling it out for a podium at this stage with his teammate Greg Minogue just up the road from him too. But we know that Scholes has got the fuel and strategy advantage. So you'd have to say this is probably the battle now with his teammate for provisional P3 at this stage. But we can't really say anything is concrete at this point in time until we get into the second pit stop period. But they are doing very well. Scholes has just started a breakaway off the front end of Gary, a little bit in behind. This little battle just spread out just slightly. But this is the battle we were checking out before. Dibatito, Goosey, and Pointon. The battle that involves a driver who's battling for the championship and a driver that is battling it out for P3 and automatic promotion back up into Split 1 next season. On board now, looking out the rear window of Dibatito's car. He's doing well here to hold off Goosey for this position. So come off turn 2 and down the straight. We're going to get a good view here if Pointon gets a run. I don't think he's close enough, though, to Goosey and behind to get the run down to the next corner. It just gives us a bit of a bird's eye view of what it would be like to be the rear view mirror of Jason Dibatito and the 28 Hypersonic Racing Commodore. Because this is all you would see in that rear view mirror. And look at that. Pointon tries to poke it up the inside of Goosey. Ran it slightly wide. Pointon, though, round the outside he comes. And that there is P10 for Mark Pointon. Goosey now drops outside the top 10 off the back of that. And now these guys will continue to battle it out here. Possibly for the next couple of laps if Pointon can't run away from this thing. Mark has done an exceptional job this season. Winner of round number 1. Remember I've mentioned it all season. I mentioned it in previous seasons. The current curse on the Split 2 field, the round winner does not go on to win the championship. Can he break the curse? He needs to get a positive position tonight over Scholes. It's going to be a long road ahead for him here over the last 32 laps. But anything can happen in vets. Scholes could have an absolute melter. At this stage, this will be Pointon's drop round. This will be the first time he would finish out of the top 5 if he cannot make it up there. Scholes, if he finishes where he is, he continues the run. He continues to go 9-0 in terms of top 5 finishes. Would surely be a record since the start of the Split 3 era of vets, which is when I count the history to happen, because that's the current form that we drive with. 3 splits to pre-qualifying at the start of the season. There is now a big train down to P15. Thank you for telling me about that. It is led by Marty Hansen, Scotty Weston and Craig Healy. Although I don't think these guys are really going to be battling, but John Gallen will want to be putting the pressure on him behind. Sheppo's just there too, as well as Cullen and Fox. I don't always like to focus on teammates who are together on track because they don't usually battle. You know, they usually just like to work together to hold drivers off in the back. But we continue and I digress. Fastest lap of the race so far currently sits with Matty Scholes, 122.31. I know I just clicked off that there for the moment. But Matty Scholes currently has fast lap of the race, 122.31. His last lap was a 22.89. It was 700ths slower than the car in behind, that being Gary Buckland. So that could just be due to some tow off the back of Scholes' car. But Gary's doing an incredible job to hold on the back of him. I'll be very interested to see how Mr. Peanut Butter Cup Boy does this year in Split 2. Even next season and into season 20. But I'd be very interested to see what he can do because he's, you know, been always the bridesmaid, never the bride. A bit like Viger in the past. And, you know, at this stage in this race, where we stand right now, it's looking like Pointon's also going to take that mantle on. But we'll have to wait and see. I hope for the best for him. I hope for the best for Scholes as well. Hopefully we can get a good battle for this championship going into the final round. Sheppo, he's done well so far. He's up 14 spots in this race. It's not the most gain so far. Most gain goes to Marty Hansen, who's at the front of this little battle pack. 17 positions gained so far for Marty. He's had a great little run here in the East-West Racing GMK Logistics 126 Commodore. And, well, two of the other 3 GMK Logistics entries sit just in behind him. Split 2 for Craig. I hope you mean yourself, Craig, or do you mean Craig Healy? Split 1 for Jimbo. But yeah, Wayne doing very well. Struggled in qualifying to really set a lap, but as the race has gone on, it just seems he's been able to get into his groove. Offer yourself. Yeah, fair enough. Well, maybe we will see you in here next season. We already have a friend in split 3. But Sheppo, yeah, he's done well tonight. And again, just trying to find his groove, trying to find his footing. Has struggled this season, been caught up in incidents of his own or others alike. And just, he wants to try and do well, and he was getting a bit frustrated with getting caught up in incidents that could have been deemed, avoidable. But yeah, he's done well. He did well last week, and he's just hoping to continue that run of form throughout the rest of this season. Goosey into the pits. So the first and the second pit stops now begin, and the onus goes to the P3 and the championship driver, Darren Goosey. He currently sits in the championship table before drop rounds with 1,322 points. Shane Randall's currently on 1,270. Matty Parker's a bit further behind at 1,142, and this is now going to make it even harder for him to stay with them, because it means that he's going to be above 100 points behind them come the end of this round. If they don't have an absolute shocker, he's going to lose a heap of points to them, and he's going to be out of that battle for sure. He's going to be out of the battle. There's going to be no hope for him to battle it out for P3 next week. But we'll have to check it out. Goosey at this stage is having VR. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I recall him having some VR problems on Thursday night, and that's what that would have been, coming into the pits, fix up the VR, get back out on track. So it's good that it didn't actually ruin his race. It's good that it didn't actually hinder him being able to continue on in this race. Otherwise, that would have realistically would have forced this round to be his drop round, and he may have it may have hurt him quite a fair bit going forward. But we'll have to wait and see how it all pans out for him here in the rest of this race. His rival Shane Randell for P3, he's up in P11 in this race. So there's a good, 15 positions between them. So it's quite a big chunk of points. That's about 30-point gain for Randell on that gap between them. Remembering coming into this round, the gap was 52 points. So that is prior to drop rounds happening, of course. But prior to drop rounds happening, that would then make the difference 22 points between them going into the final round. So it would make it, still... Is the TV volume down and hearing aids turned up to 100%? It should be. They should be turned up, honestly. But Randall doing well at the moment. Hopefully Goosey can come back from this. We'll have to see what happens after the second pit stop period. Mark Pointon is now in for his second stop of the evening. So this will be his final pit stop. This will now get him home on fuel. Lap 32 of 56 we're coming on to. So he's pitting on lap 31, technically. End of 31, start of 32. But Minogue still leads the way, so he's actually managed to get himself a good chunk of points. A nice point here, being that he has led a lap at least in this race. Has he led the most? We'll have to check what the current pit stint length is. We currently sit at 13 laps. Scholes led for 18 prior to this, so still got a ways to go before he could actually claim that he's led the most laps in this race. But remembering that Scholes has got the better strategy, in terms that he'll actually make up time in the pits, being he doesn't have to take as much fuel, then it might not actually go to Brian in terms of how many laps led and leading the most laps to get that extra point at the end of the race. But currently as we stand, Scholes is getting an extra point for fastest lap, and he's getting a point for leading the most laps in this race. It's only on 12 instead of 22. Are you talking about the TV volume? I hope you are. Why is it normally on 22? That's way too loud. He wonders why he needs hearing aids. Having the TV at 22. Like, that is ridiculously loud. Doesn't need to be that loud. But Minogue leads the way to Caperonis, to Grech, to Scholes, to Buckland. That's the top 5 coming into the second pit stop period of this race. 8s, then Latham, Corbett, Duggan, Dibatito, and Randall. That's the 10. Crow, Munro, Hanson, Weston, Gallen is the 15, and then Healy, Shepherd, Fox, Cullen, Peck. That's the 20 as it currently stands at this time. Gallen, though, has just pulled off a move in the background on Weston, but Weston coming back at him here. At least it is an even number. If you're going to have your volume on your TV set, it either needs to be an even number or a number divisible by 5. So it means that, you know, a TV volume at 45. God, Gary, where's your hearing aids? To come up here, this is a great little battle so far with Weston and Gallen. They're still fighting it out hard right now. Gallen, though, up the inside at turn 5. Nice little move there on Weston. He just had to let him have it at the bottom end. Yeah, it needs to be on an even number, or again, a number that has a 5 in it. The only odd numbers I will accept are numbers that have got a 7 as the second digit. So if you have it on 17, 27, I feel like that's the midpoint between a 5 and a 0. So that's okay, but don't give me something like a 13 or a 1. Like, you just sit on 12 or 14 at that point. But we start lap 34. There's a move in the background from Ed Fox on Craig Healy. We can see it happen up the inside. That there was an exceptional move from Ed Fox. And that is how you do it. Dave Baldock saying 37 is a good number. I thought you'd say it was an exceptional number, Dave. How many AI images are you on now? Are you at least at 37 AI images made? Isn't there like a daily limit of about 20? That was a good move there from Ed. That was nice and clinical. No. I said even number or divisible by 5 unless it has a 7 at the end. So like 17, 27. That's acceptable for me. It's not as egregious as having like 11 or 13 or 19. Like, you might as well go the 1 tick up or the 1 tick down. My luck changed for the better when I gave it away. Oh, so Pato used to have 37 and then offloaded it to Mr. Baldock, apparently. If that's what I'm reading correctly. Yeah, that was good. Couple of drivers into the pits now. Healy and Shepherd coming in. No, I'm saying that only if it has a 7. So if it has a 7, then it's fine. But ideally, I just sit with, you know, divisible by 5 or an even number. Okay, so technically 0 is not, but because 10 is, anything divisible by 10 is an even number. Or anything multiplied by 10 is an even number. So 0 itself is neither odd or even, but if it ends in a 0, then it is even. Minogue, though, doing well here off the start. Latham P6 has just come into the lane as well. So he now drops some spots. Breccia is still up on the back of his teammate Jim Caparonis. Corbett starting to come up on the back of Toddy Duggan. Maybe that's why Baldock is old. Possibly. Could possibly be why Baldock is old. Because he has an odd number in 37. 57 or 37, Shane, because Baldock runs 37. Just want to double check. Oh, big lock up there, though, from Corbett on the inside of the corner. As we come up now. So, second pit stop period well underway. Sipple and Peters into the lane at this point in time. Minogue still leads the affair. Might be. Caparonis into the lane now. Peters just coming out. Minogue still leads, currently highest placed driver in the field with 2 compulsory pit stops completed. That being Peter Latham at this stage, P18. Caperonis and Duggan it into the lane. Caperonis is in the pit. Tito and Corbett have just come past. So the team, I was about to say, Pat, I'm like, why are you talking about 57? Like, Shane is going to have a chubby buns with American cheese next season for me. Oh, that's nice. That's pretty cool. Get the old cheeseburger on there. Well, no, Stacey, you might be able to answer this. Have you actually heard of the peanut butter burger? I think it is from North Carolina in the US. And it is actually a thing, and apparently it's really good. Can't put that in the chat, William. I'm sorry. You can't put that in there. You have to delete. You have to delete that one. Thank you. Minogue is into the chat, into the pits. I'm not reading that comment out, William. That comment goes against YouTube guidelines, so you need to get that one out, please. Scholes is now P2 in this race. Well, he needs to pit. Thank you, William. Appreciate it. No food chat again. I know last week's was just full of food. It was brought on by the absolute rebels and larrikins that are my friends Jack and Ash. Saying yes, I have acquired taste. Yeah, apparently it's good. I want to try it. Honestly, it sounds pretty good. It just sounds like a satay burger, like a peanut satay sauce with the meat burger. It would actually be pretty good, I reckon. So. As we come on through lap 38 of 56, we'll try not to turn it into a foodie podcast again. This is not the kitchen, it is the Split 2 broadcast. We'll save the food chat for Friday nights in the kitchen. Some more drivers in the field now coming into the lane. Hanson, Randall, Munro, Barella, McMillan all in. Maybe they should change their sponsors away from Chubby Buns. It'll keep us off the food trail. But Scholes is now coming up on some lap traffic, although he needs to pit. We'll see when he does come in. He is able to go a bit longer, being he has the heavier fuel load at this stage. Grech is in the lane, so he copped the extra point for leading a lap, does the Industrial Batteries driver, number 10 car. Buckland's also in. I'm waiting for that team to cop the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup sponsorship on the car. Scholes doing well, though. He's now back in the lead and still needs to do a second CPS in this race. Speaking of GMK Logistics, yep, they are. I've heard they're a great freight company. And actually, their race cars look almost identical to the side of the trailers for the trucks. So great bit of marketing there by whoever made the East-West Racing liveries. They look absolutely fantastic. But as saying that, there's a big lockup. I believe it might have been... Oh, I'm trying to find who it was. It was Matty Stoyles who had the big lockup there. They need extra room. Yeah, 100%. I reckon Jim needs to expand the business out to every single state and offer Uber Eats statewide for Chubby Buns. That'll get us all on side for sure. See, though, Peter's just trying to let Matty Scholes pass him as best he can at this point in time. Got a good little battle starting to form here with Munro and Vermey. They're battling it out right now for P17, although Vermey does need to come into the lane for a compulsory stop. Corbett and Dibatito are in. Oh, won't be long. Chubby Buns is going interstate. Well, can you give us the insight of which state it will be going into? Hopefully Victoria. So I don't have to travel as far to get one. Need to get over for a team photo. Surely it has to happen at the newest establishment for Chubby Buns. John Gallen is also into the lane now for his compulsory stop, his final compulsory stop of the night. Off. Let's go, Jim. Let's get it, son. I reckon when that location opens, we do a Beyond the Apex episode live from Chubby Buns, Victoria, opening day. Do a review of the food and have a chat about sim racing at the same time. What do you guys reckon? Let me know. But Scholes still leads. Does need that CPS. But we'll have to wait and see when it comes. So this battle, I mean, it's not really a proper battle at hand, really, as Vermeer does need to come into the lane again. But Munro will just be trying to stay, within his grasp and make his way past him fairly easily. Let's go, Jim. Let's go. That'd be brilliant. Up the inside. Munro wants it. Not quite close enough that time by. Vermeer stays ahead as we're on lap 41 of 56. So next lap will be 15 laps to the end. And then we will be at the end of the penultimate round and on to the final round next Saturday night. Reminder, next Saturday night happens 2 hours earlier than the regular scheduled show. It happens at 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Saturday night for round 10. That'll be 3:30 in the afternoon for WA, 6 p.m. for South Australia, 5 p.m. for Northern Territory, 5:30 p.m. for Queensland, and 8:30 p.m. for New Zealand. Anywhere else out there, I'm not sure if I'm bothered to try and figure out the time difference, I'm going to be honest. But it is happening 2 hours earlier, so you don't have to wait 7 days for the next broadcast. You just have to wait 6 days and 22 hours. So we're bringing it to you nice and early come next week. You're too old. You're actually racing on the day. When Anita and Gary were in Sydney last week, they should have visited you, Jim. You could have done an in-store promotion for people to meet a couple of sponsor supercar drivers. That would have been brilliant. Would have been absolutely fantastic. Eastern Daylight's time for you. All right. Okay, hang on. I'll do quick maths here while we watch this battle. I think a few drivers need to do their second CPS at this point in time, and then it's going to be a straight-on sprint to the end of the race. Jeez, is it 5:48 a.m. for you, Stacey? God damn. 5:48 at the moment. That would be 4:30 when it was 2:30 in the morning, Stacey. 2:30 in the morning for you. Vermeer comes in, and now Gallen is put up onto the back of Munro. So yeah, 2:30 in the morning, Stacey. Next Friday night for you, or Saturday night for you. Yeah. Oh, but yeah, it's Friday night really. 2:30 a.m. A little bit earlier. See the Gallen on the back of Munro. And the only reason I'm sticking with this battle is William said this pass was exceptional from John, and I want to see it. He is a dedicated man, and I appreciate the dedication. If you guys want to show just as much dedication and you're new here, then please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon too, so you are notified anytime we go racing across the weekend, including the Friday Night Kitchen, the Saturday Night Split 2 broadcast, where you can see action just like this for 10 weeks out of the 13-week season, and then also the Sunday morning Beyond the Apex podcast happening once again tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. or 9:30 to 10 a.m., depending on when I wake up, to be honest with you, and when I'm awake with the world. I'll be chatting about some of the newest news for iRacing, to talk about what is coming out for Season 2, and discuss the race start as well for the 12-hour, because I do plan on getting up at 5 a.m. to watch the start. So we'll see how we go. But Gallen all over the back of Munro right now. This is one of our closest battles on track at this moment in time. These guys are battling it out like it's nobody's business. Not wanting to give anything up. So yeah, this is just how close it is between them. There's absolutely nothing in it. If you look at the sector times, that was sector 1. Gallen was slightly faster. He wants this done round the outside. down towards 3. He's gone even faster in the second sector, but Munro defends it off well. Gallen shoots the half up the inside, gets the outside line at 4. Hopes to make this stick. And that is great driving from the both of them there, but a good pass from Gallen in the end. Good showing from him off the back of that one. That was a good move. Here we can see we're back up now. Gary Buckland comes on past, but here's the battle that I wanted to look at. Latham, Dibatito, Corbett, and Duggan. See here, this is the time delta between them. This is the last 5 laps. Latham back to Duggan. That's how much the gap has shrunk over the last 5 laps. It was out to 2.7 seconds at lap 38, now down to 1.4 off the back of that. So there's absolutely nothing in it between them. But that was some great clean racing between Munro and Gallen. We can see this though, Corbett wanted it on the inside of his teammate. Dibatito wasn't having any of it at that stage in time. You can see this though, just up the front as well. If you look on the timing tower, 32.4 seconds. The gap between Scholes and Caperonis. Scholes still needs to come in for that second CPS, as I mentioned. But when he does, he should be right on time to come out ahead of Houdini himself. The number 69 Industrial Batteries entry of Jim Caperonis. Lap 45 for these guys now of 56. So we're etching closer and closer to 10 laps to go. We haven't had a safety car just yet. I didn't expect one coming into this race. This track's a bit hard, as I mentioned, to get a safety car here unless you get a car stuck in the middle of the track at the Shadow Realm door, or a car stuck in the wall somewhere, or a big incident on the front straight. It's pretty hard to cop one. We've had no, car braking incidents necessarily here tonight, but it's just been good, clean, hard racing between the drivers. Scholes is in. So he's led the most laps of this race. No one can lead any more than him, so he will get the extra point for that. He's got the fastest lap of the race as well, so he'll get the extra point for that at this stage, and if he gets the win, then he's going for perfect running. Caperonis P2, he's just starting to come up towards the final couple of corners now. Not quite close enough on Scholes at this stage. Scholes is now off the jacks and he's coming out, so he's still got a hell of a lead back to Caperonis in P2. There's Taylor on the outside. He'll get the blue flag though and should let the leader go up at turn 2. He does. So Scholes now has a nice run home from this point. He just has to keep it clean. It's 7.3 seconds back from back to Jim Caperonis. If we look at this, we want to just compare quickly to Scholes versus Pointon. Lap 40, the gap was 52.591 seconds. Lap 45, it's now only down to 47.39 seconds. In fact, it's actually down to about 26 seconds thanks to the pit stop from Scholes there off the back of that. So it's not looking good for Mark. This is looking like it's going to be a drop round for him here tonight, being that, he's not really in a position to gain anything off the next 10 or so laps. So this is looking more like it's going to be Mark's drop round, the first instance this season that he's finished outside the top 5. Unless an absolute miracle happens. He's in an intense battle with Robert Crow at the moment, who's got Darren Goosey just ahead of him. Shane Randall a bit further back down the road off the back of them. We're going to stick with this battle at this stage in time. I don't know. Caperonis doesn't sound like an Irish name. It sounds like a, Southern European name. Like Italian, Greek, maybe in the Yugoslavian region, possibly. Caperon is saying this could be the first ever top 10 finish for him in Split 2. Is that right, Jim? Would this be your first, not only your first podium, but also your first top 10 finish? That would be absolutely insane if you can pull this off. Yeah, Greek heritage, but Aussie born and bred. Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with 10 laps to go, we'll quickly, or a bit less than 10 laps to go, we'll run with a quick little ad roll here. And then we'll get back to racing. We'll be back soon with more action from Split 2 of the V8 Veterans Season 18 at Mid-Ohio. We are back now, lap 49 of 56. That's the final ad roll of the race here tonight. We obviously will have one after the proceedings end, but we're still with this battle. Crow defending hard against Goosey. He managed to get it past him. And now Pointon is all on the back of the Industrial Batteries 186 entry. So this Pointon wants it up the inside of Goosey. A little bit of a lock there from Crow. It's a good gain there from Pointon. He moves up to P11, so this is still, I mean, it's still likely going to be the drop round no matter what he gains off the back of this. But Mark is now in a position to try and just claw back some points at this stage. But Goosey, he wants it up the inside now. Pointon not quite close enough to make this happen. What, Gary? What was the price of that RaceKraft rig, if you wouldn't, on that RaceKraft rig, if you wouldn't mind divulging it to the rest of the audience here tonight? So we come up through 7. Scholes still with a massive gap back to Caperonis at this stage. Pointon looks to be on a charge still at this point. Crowy's just managed to break away a little bit here off the back of the move earlier in the lap. A bit of lap traffic in behind Goosey at this stage in Jeremy Bush. He was around back in P34. 2 cars out of contention at this stage for this race. Marty Atkins, Daniel Sheriffs. Both been out for quite a few laps. But Goosey's just trying to keep that lead over Randell at the moment. Only 2 points separate him in the points gained in this race, so Randell wouldn't actually be giving up too much at this point in time on Goosey. But yeah, he'll just be hoping that, you know, he can either get back up on the back of Goosey, put some pressure on him and get past him, or that Goosey doesn't make up any more spots in this race. Another battle that's happening just a little bit further up the road. It is currently Latham versus Dibatito. This is the battle for P6 between the Shadow Racing entry of Latham. Oh, was that a bit of a slide from him? I reckon it was. That looked like a little drift. Dibatito's going to take advantage. He wants it round the inside of him here. up towards the final couple of corners. That's a nice move there from Jason. Peter drops a couple of spots. Also great to have Marty Hughes in the chat. I saw him before. Great to have you here, Marty. Hope you're enjoying these last couple of laps. If you haven't, if you want to go back and check out the first portion of the race, it's been an absolute cracker so far in terms of on-track action and seeing the strategies play out at hand so far. But Dibatito now ahead of Latham, who's now under pressure from Duggan in behind. Corbett's still there as well. We come round turn number 2. We've got 5 laps to go at the end of this one. Not much longer in this race. It's looking like Scholes to win. This would be monumental for him in the championship fight. It would put the cards in his hands leading into Mugello next week for the final round. He would get that 5th win here tonight if he can hold this out. And he would then end up being 1 win away from equaling the record that Sibra set twice over. See Duggan still under a little bit of pressure from Corbett and behind, but they're just kind of cruising at the moment, trying to get home. Just trying to stay in it. Goosey's had a spin. Big moment here. Darren Goosey has had a spin and he's lost it, and now he's in front of this little pack here of Munro, Hanson and Fox as we come up towards the final couple of corners. That is massive for championship. This now puts Randell ahead of him here. Goosey still on the inside of Fox as they come on through towards the final corner. Oh, was there contact there? I don't think so. That might have been a bit of net code. But Goosey at the end of this race has now dropped a heap of spots. He's going to have to chill out for a moment. His current drop round was when he finished P21 or P18, I think it might have been. But now he sits P21 in this race. 9 spots back on his championship rival, Shane Randell. No price available online. Wow. So this now puts Randell in the hot seat to gain big on Goosey. With Randall's drop round coming last round, this will now put him on 1290 points. 1,290 points. If this is Goosey's drop round, that then makes the gap 32 points going into the final round. It would be 1322 versus 1290 Goosey's way. He would still be P3, but it would mean that Randell would have to beat him by 15 or 16 positions in the next race. So not out of the cards necessarily, but it would be a tough slog for him to get that done. But that now spices up the battle just a little bit come final round time next time out. Puts the pressure on Goosey just a little bit more. But Matty Scholes still leads the way of this race at this point in time. He'll come round the final 2 corners. There will be 3 laps to go for him when he crosses the line. Lap 54 or 56 when he crosses the line. In fact, quite a few drivers have been lapped so far at this stage. At our gap instead of our interval, you can see who has been lapped. It's Taylor, Dunn, Martin and Bush. Vermeer, the next driver on the chopping block to get lapped if Scholes gains the next 10 seconds on him at this stage in time. We can see though Minogue, he's on the back of this little battle. He's wanting to put some pressure on Stephen Grech. Mr. Houdini just a little bit further up the road from them at this point in time. Oh, Minogue wanted up the inside, not quite close enough as we come up through 2. But they're still working hard here just to get anything they possibly can. I tell you what, this race, it may not have the pressure building in a race sense of what we would normally have, but what it has got building is the pressure gauge on the championship. That is where the pressure is building. Coming into this race, without drop rounds involved, Scholes was leading by 23 points back to Pointon. We'll do the calcs before next week and we'll figure out where we sit with drop rounds involved with the points. If they're updated before the final round happens, we'll definitely know where we sit and where we stand. And that'll give us a good idea of who is within the fight next week. Remembering we cannot drop round 10. So that will mean that it is whoever finishes better than the other, and if they beat them by enough positions, they will get the edge of the sword comparatively. Lap 55 of 56, 2 laps to go. Who is going to get this race in their hand here tonight? Let me know what you've thought, not just of this race here tonight so far, but what you've thought of the season so far. Penultimate round time, of course, 1 round to go next week. Mugello broadcast happens 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. 2:30 a.m. for the people in the US. 8:30 p.m. for the New Zealanders. 3:30 p.m. for the Kiwis. Sorry, for the people in WA. South Australia, 6 p.m. Northern Territory, 5 p.m. Queensland, 5:30 p.m. So let us know what you thought of this season. Let us know your picks to heading into the final round. Who you reckon's going to get the 1, 2, 3 into that final round. Pointon or Scholes for champion. The other one would get P2. And then Goosey or Randell for P3 in that final automatic promotion spot in the championship. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think. Final lap of the race. Matty Scholes has had an absolutely exceptional run here tonight. He has been better than ever. This would be his 5th win of the championship, putting him up there with the likes of Rick Sibra, Jason Strange and others alike on the journey. Scholes, there was questions about this battle heading into the start of the championship. Again, it's been a championship of halves. The first half of the season, Pointon was right up there with him, winning races, swapping and changing with Scholes. Parker was up there as well. But now the second half of the season, it's been the Scholes show through and through, up through 7 for the final time. He will come up now towards 8, 9, 10 and 11 for the final run-up here in this race. Matty Scholes, possibly champion-elect, round the final couple of corners. He's done an immense job this season. 5 wins. Every single race finishes in the top 5. First man to go into the final round with those sorts of stats. This man right now is on absolute fire, and there is a reason why he is leading this championship. Big shout out to Matty Scholes. What a performance from him here tonight. What a performance from him this season. Jim Caperonis not only gets his first podium in bets, apparently his first ever top 10 in split 2. Phenomenal effort from him. Greg comes home P3. Minogue in P4 wasn't quite close enough. Gary Buckland makes up the top 5. Shane Randall will come round the final couple of corners. He'll get the one-upmanship on Goosey. He'll come home P12. Nürburgring will lead his drop round when he evidently finished P21. And he will now have 32 points between him and this man, Darren Goosey. They are the players in the show next week. They are the ones with the chance at glory, with the chance to make history, and with the chance at immortality. Just to quickly run you through the drivers who are on the chopping block before next week for the rest of the 10 to stay in split 2. Currently in contention for that, Peter Verme, P10 in the championship, Gary Buckland, P11, Will Munro, P12, Stephen Grech, P13, Craig Healy, P14, Scotty Weston, P15, Toddy Duggan, P16, And a couple of stragglers either end. Matty Scholes is in P9, Matty Parker in P8. So those are the ones that are in contention for that automatic staying in split 2, being from P4 down to P13. But what a run it was for all of our drivers here tonight. Not a one that was full of carnage, not a race that was full of controversy, but one that was full of strategy, great battles on track, and it's just turned the pressure gauge up slightly for next week before we even get there, with massive championship implications inbound. We'll run you through the provisional race results here tonight for Mid-Ohio. Matty Scholes comes home P1 for 801 Sim Racing. He'll finish 15.7 seconds ahead of Jim Caperonis out of P2, with Stephen Grett coming home in P3, both of them for Old Mate and Sons. Brian Minogue will come home in P4 for SLS Racing ahead of Old Mate and Sons. Gary Buckland, that's a phenomenal effort from their team. 3 cars in the top 5 here tonight. Jason DiBattista will come home in P6 ahead of Peter Latham in P7. Glenn Corbett in P8. Toddy Duggan in P9, and then Robert Crow will round out the top 10 for Simrigs Infinity Motorsport. We then have Mark Pointon, who finishes P11. First time he's finished out of the top 5 this season. This will be his drop round prior to round number 10. Shane Randall will come home in P12, importantly ahead of Darren Goosey, who's a bit further down the field. Johnny Gallen comes home P13. Will Munro in P14. Marty Hanson makes up the top 15 for East West Racing, GMK Logistics. Troy Sipple then comes home in P16 ahead of Banter Alliance Racing's Roy Clark in P17, with Mark Peck in behind them in P18 here tonight. We then head down to P19 and Ed Fox, P20 for Craig Healy for the GMK Logistics crew. And then Darren Goosey, P3 in the championship at the moment, P21, and all the pressure is on him. 32 points is the gap between him and Randall for P3 at this stage. We then have Barella, Weston, Yo, and Cullen making up the top 25. Then it's Matty Stoyles, Peter Vermey, Jamie Peters in behind them. Then we got Wayne Shepherd in P29. He unfortunately ran out of fuel on the run home and actually had to crawl it across the line. It was then Matty McMillan, Brett Taylor, Jason Dunn, Todd Martin, and Jeremy Bush making up the rest of the order. Atkins and Sheriffs will not be classified here tonight for not making 75% of the race. Big thank you goes out to our race controllers, Greg Favell, Anthony Vismer, and Michael Hayes. But thank you as well to our viewers for bringing us into their homes here tonight and allowing me to speak you through the runnings of this race here tonight. And oh yeah, if you're in split 2, Stacey, we'll make sure that you have got the American flag next to your name. But yeah, thank you guys for supporting this series as well. We got Matty Scholes and Jim Caperonis in the green room. We'll drag them both in.
I've tried at GT3. I like GT3s, but something about the V8 supercars I really enjoy. I'm starting to find my pace now. Like I'm doing things a bit different to what I was doing. I'm not as rash anymore. So I've had a good few finishes, 12th and now 2nd. So I'm happy. I'm getting better. How do you think you're going to find split 1?
Tough.
I think, you know what? I was talking with the boys in a practice session earlier, Magello. Mate, I reckon you're going to be just fine. Honestly, you're going to do really well over there.
Yeah, it's just
you and Mr. Pointon, he'll do well.
Yeah, it's just where your goals are, I guess. That's what we're trying to work at, will we?
Remember, they're a lot more argy-bargy.
Yeah, 100%.
Than we are, so.
Boys, this is a very interesting conversation that I've just dragged you up from. I'm going to be honest. We've been in here for about a minute just listening in on this conversation.
Oh, my God. Hamish.
Standard.
I thought it was private.
I'm glad there wasn't anything that was too vulgar, we'll say, out of that conversation. But congratulations to you both here tonight. Jim, we'll start with you, mate. Congratulations on an absolute rabbit out of the hat here tonight. P2 for you, of course. You have been titled Houdini, obviously, by myself after Watkins Glen. But you've had a pretty consistent run this season, and to kind of top it off with P2 prior to the last round, that's got to feel good, mate.
Yes, honestly, I am super stoked. As I was saying earlier, the last 3 races, I've sort of changed my tack. I'm just thinking of taking it easy, running within myself, just not worrying about what others are doing around me. If the faster guys want to get past, let them go past, do your own race. And it's paid off. The last 3 races, I've done really well, but I couldn't do it without my teammates. Unbelievable. absolutely unbelievable. I just want to thank them. I want to thank Industrial Batteries and, of course, Joey Buns Burgers. And just thank the admin. And Hamish, you've done an amazing job. So thank you for the telecasts every single week. It's been great. Whole family sits and watches.
Thanks, mate. I do have a very important question for you. So off the back of this
Yep.
P2, is there now
Yep.
a new menu item coming into Chubby Buns titled the P2 burger, like a double cheeseburger or something that's coming on there?
Mate, probably not, because there's a lot of ramifications in doing something like that. But maybe next season something might come up, I suppose.
Or we'll have to wait and see. Maybe a new debuting item for when Chubby Buns expands into state. But
Well, we're looking into it, Hamish. We're looking into it. I just want to congratulate Scholes. He's an amazing driver, and as I was saying earlier, I think he's going to do great guns in Split 1. So congratulations, bud.
Well,
Thanks, mate.
we did catch that off at the start of your conversation when I snuck you both up in here. But I mean, even to both of you, Jim, to get your car up there here tonight, to do well in qualifying to start with. I know you've struggled with that in the past sometimes, and then struggled in the race in the past as well. I mean, to put those cards together, line your ducks up, and to finally have that happen, it's incredible to see you finally be able to pull that off and have it pay off for you in terms of not only a top 10 but in a podium finish as well. So now all you've got to do is get that win, and suddenly you'll be hanging out with Mr. Peanut Butter Boy and Mr. Greg as the team winners.
Well, look, I felt more confident because I had Mr. Greg behind me, and I'm thinking, all right, like, what's he going to do? I knew he was there. He was holding off Minogue there, and I was thankful that he didn't pass him because I knew he was fast. Brian was really fast, and I was worried about that, but I still stayed composed, and I got her over the line. Let me tell you, I was jeering. Let me tell you, I was so happy about that. If you don't mind, Hamish, can I just say a really special thank you to somebody?
Yeah, mate, no worries at all. You've more than earned that for getting your first podium.
Yeah, look, in all honesty, I was going through a really tough time during iRacing not too long ago, and I reached out to Mr. Scotty Gamble, and I had a bit of a chat with him, and I asked him if he could help me out, and you know what? This bloke put everything aside, and he didn't have to. He helped me out. He took me out on track and gave me a few little pointers. And no matter what I did, I even told him, look, I'll pay. He'd not accept anything. He just wanted to help out. Even though we're in opposition teams, the bloke is a true gentleman, seriously. And he is an alien for starters, and he's just a top bloke. And iRacing is the better that he's in iRacing, seriously. Such a lovely bloke, and I'm forever grateful.
Yeah, I'd have to push your sentiment towards him as well. I know when I brought him onto the podcast, he was open to coming on and just to give up time out of his day and out of his life to chat to me about sim racing, chat to me about mental health, and his personal history through life as well was ultra appreciated. So it's really great that we have the likes of Scotty Gamble and others in the community to want to help people out and to put time aside for other people in the league, no matter what team they're in, to give them support and help lift them up alongside them as well. So, that's
top
really
bloke,
cool.
top bloke.
He
Seriously,
is,
true gentleman.
Yeah, he is. Just quickly, Matty, 5 wins, mate. You're 1 away from equaling that record. You've got this championship in one hand at this stage. Champion-elect, unfortunately, a poor night from Mark. This will be his drop round, and you've currently got the advantage heading into the final round out at Magello. He did put a message into the chat saying, great drive and perfectly executed from Matt Scholes. Big congratulations to Jim Caparonis and a fantastic drive from him, as well as giving a shout out to Stephen Grech. Awesome drive from all of them to finish in the top 3. But yeah, Matty, it's like, we started the season out. You weren't able to come and have a chat to me for a while. Then suddenly we've been able to chat these last couple of weeks, and you're just winning race after race, and you're one step away from being our next Split 2 champion.
Yeah, well, hopefully we can continue it, and we'll have a chat next week. Special mention for Nashi, and we've also had Ricky Hyde jump on board with us. He's going to be running our 801 next season too, and he's been in our practice sessions the last couple of nights, and definitely helped push me for this Mid-Ohio round. I don't know much about the next track. I've done one practice session, and I'm pretty ordinary compared to Nash and Ricky anyway, put it that way.
Well,
So
I think
there's still plenty to drive. There's still plenty to do before next Thursday.
I think you're probably in the same boat as nearly everyone else. First time we've ever run it in vets. I mean, it's only a season old. It only came out last season, so this is the first time we're running it, and and I think this might be the first time anyone's run it in the supercars up to this point. I could be wrong in terms of leagues, but it's been an incredible run for you this season, mate. Honestly, and you're pushing the boundaries on, being able to get that car in a really, really comfortable position and a really competitive position this season as well. And you're just going one step further every single week, and it's so great to see. It's unfortunate that Mark couldn't bring the battle to you this week. Hopefully next week we can get a nice little battle between you, but it's going to take a lot of work from him to try and get that championship out of your hand at this stage. I mean, realistically speaking, you'd have to have an absolute blunder for him to... You kind of have to be opposite ends of the spectrum as what you were Thursday for next week, for him to really have a chance at that. But he is still within the fight, of course. But... I mean, if you would get that win next week, get that 6th win, get all 10 rounds in the top 10, I think arguably speaking, you would be the most successful split 2 driver of all time. Even though you would equal Rick's win record, to actually do that and then also never finish outside the top 5 would be absolutely exceptional. It'll be the first time we'd ever see that. So you've had a great run this season, mate. Congratulations for another win once again Thursday night. Let us know who's giving you the support out there, mate. Anyone else you want to give a shout out to as well? And then I can let you boys go back to your nice little convo you were having in the green room.
Thanks, mate. Yes, just thanks to everyone in Split 2. Like the driving all season, I think, has been really good, and it's definitely helped. Like everyone at the front of the field, like lap cars. There's been a few issues here or there, but to be honest, I think it's been really, really fair racing. So yeah, congrats to everyone really in the league. Yourself for the broadcast, awesome. The veteran boys that look after the league, it's great fun. And then like I said before, my team with the 801 with myself and Nash have got it going. Now we've got Ricky on board for next season. We'll just keep trying to push ahead, see what we can do in Split 1 next year. So and probably our sponsor should throw out to Phoenix Radiators, Bliss Homes, special mention to Mark Hughes Foundation, and well, hopefully fingers crossed we can stay clean next week.
Well, mate, best of luck for the final round. Best of luck to you as well, Jim. Thanks for coming over to chat to me tonight, boys. Best of luck, as I said, and if I don't speak to you for whatever reason next week, best of luck in pre-qualifying as well, going into season 19.
Yeah, thanks, Hamish.
Thanks, Hamish.
Appreciate it, boys. We'll get to speak there to both Matty Scholes and Jim Caparonis. I don't see Mr. Grech anywhere. Nope, he's on any other channels. So that, I think, will end out our discussions for tonight for chatting to our podium finishers. But it's been an incredible season so far, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us on the journey thus far this season. It's been absolutely incredible to call the action these last 5 seasons here in Vets. It's been an absolute pleasure. That's not the one we want. Where is it? There it is right there. Really, really appreciate your time. Thank you for joining us once again. Thank you to all the series sponsors as well. Logitech G, Parramatta Isuzu, Nova Sim Sports, Play One Sim Gear, and the league sponsor, RaceKraft Simulations. Without you guys, we couldn't go racing here for 3 splits every single week for 10 weeks out of a 13-week season. Thank you guys for joining me here tonight. Really appreciate it. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and the bell icon so you are notified anytime we go racing across our 3 nights of content every week/2 weeks. Friday night kitchen for Split 3, Saturday night Split 2 broadcast, and then a Sunday morning Beyond the Apex podcast. Go check out SimSpeed as well to check out all the live action for Split 1 every Thursday night. Final round coming up this week, ladies and gentlemen. You do not want to miss any of the races. The battles for the championships are going right down to the end for all 3 splits. But for Split 2 next week, it comes down to Pointon versus Scholes. One more time, they will do battle for this championship. Goosey versus Randell. That's the semi-main event. That's the battle for P3. That's the battle for the final chance at promotion into Split 1. P4 down to P13. Well, those guys will get to stay in Split 2. Everyone else will have to pre-qualify if they wish to remain in this split. But I thank you all for your time here tonight. Thank you for joining me here for the RaceKraft Simulations V8 Veterans Season 18 Logitech G, round number 9 out at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next Saturday night, 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time for the final round out at Mugello. But until then, I've been Hamish Munro. This has been the Vets. Bye for now.
I ain't playing weak, no, I'm playing for keeps. Can't stop me, I'm a legend. I run with the crew that's making the moves. Get out of the way, we coming through. We got this, never stopping, and we won't lose. No, we can't lose. Yeah! Are you ready? Yeah! We are the legends. We are the legends. Yeah! Are you ready? We are the legends. We are the legends.
Introducing the RaceKraft PT1, custom-built full chassis racing simulator. The design project, codenamed The Cage, an 80/40 extrusion chassis sitting on top of a Sigma Integrale DK2 Plus 4-point full motion actuator system. No compromises in the cockpit of the PT1 simulator. To maximize the experience, we start with a 49-inch ultra-wide monitor for the greatest field of view in a small footprint of the simulator, down to the SimuCube wheelbase that's tucked up and behind the monitors with SimCore extensions to get things out of the driving area. Everything is connected to a Cube Controls GTX steering wheel with the built-in dash and all the extra button functions available at your fingertips. Driving through the Raceworks S1 pedals, the potentiometer throttle and the 2 hydraulic pedals for brake and clutch ensures you maximize the feel underfoot, and seating yourself into an OMP HTER bucket racing seat with OMP belts connected to a G-belt tensioner to provide that extra feeling and the heightened experience while you're driving. Additional interfaces and accessories in the PT1, we have twin butt kickers, one on either side of the OMP seat, as well as a Jinx sequential shifter, the SimPush Race Logic timer to the left-hand side, a RaceKraft built-in WinSim kit with Philips Hue lighting and a built-in soundbar, plus the OMP side net to finish off the experience in the PT1. The RaceKraft PT1, build number 1, the ultimate in sim racing experience, combining the best products in the market with the passionate, no compromise approach that goes beyond racing simulation. Yeah, we work here.